liked what I heard from his music when we were on Instagram, and normally it's our format of the show is not technically the kind of music that Andy plays, but the difference is when you find somebody who's talented, you got to give them an opportunity to shine. And I'm still trying to get, like I had it, but I don't know what happened with the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight came back. He wanted to like show up, and he doesn't want to help me lighten up the mode. So yeah, we're gonna go with Andy King. He's out of the UK. He is 8 hours ahead of us, so it's 8:30 p.m. over there. And I'm just gonna wait for him to request to join us live on our on Instagram Live, and then we'll get it popping. You know, yeah, Andy King from the UK. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm tired, man. I'm hella tired. Like, you can follow him at Burning in the Skies. Um, yeah, and Andy should be with us very shortly, bro. Andy King. Um, I just want to. I'm so sorry. I can't even believe I did that. I've done a lot of things that have been really more unorthodox. If you actually watch the beginning of our show, and I have a problem with people's names, which I've gotten way better at doing that. Hey, Andy, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. It's so funny.
Hey,
You're like, hey, Andy King first, bro. How are you?
hey, how's it going? You're tired. It's 8:30 here. It's way past my bedtime.
Oh
I tell
wow.
you, I've got to come here. Rock and roll lifestyle.
No, I feel you. You got a beer going? You said?
No, hot chocolate. I'm being good. I'm
Oh,
being
okay,
good.
okay,
Right.
okay. So
Got a bit of vodka.
you failed already. No, I'm just joking.
Hey, so it's not too bad.
You have to have that pint ready, bro. You have to have that pint
I
ready.
wasn't thinking. I've lost man points already, haven't I?
I'm just joking. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Andy King. He's a
Thank
musician, um, singer songwriter. I mentioned earlier before. One of his biggest influences was Linkin Park, and you know now he's in a position where he's and the thing was I really like when I listened to he hit me up and I went through his page and I was like
Yeah.
Burning in the Skies. I was like, okay. And then and then it hit me. I'm like, oh, this is the Linkin Park song. So I didn't really make the connection until I got his bio. So I was like,
Uh,
oh, right, like and then I saw some other stuff. I heard some other stuff from them. I'm like, oh, he's a Linkin Park fan. And then but I want to talk to you about, let's go back, like way back into the beginning, because what a lot of people
Sounds
want
good.
to know is that you were born up in a musical family, and your parents are musicians. So I want to start there. And when was your fondest memory of when the first time you can remember going like, oh yeah, like music?
Well, I think, I mean, saying that my parents were musicians is a bit of a stretch. We used to play, some of the instruments at home, and that was about it. My mum was kind of self-taught on the piano, and my dad was quite passionate with the guitar. So, I came from quite a poor family background. So we never used to really sort of go out much and have like loads of presents and stuff. We'd sort of sit around and we'd, learn the piano, learn the guitar, have a play around, and that's kind of how we bonded. And I think I always can remember, from quite a young age, sort of sitting there on the piano stool next to my mum when I was small enough to fit next to her. Now I'm like 6'4". Um, and we used to go through it, and yeah, I just used to really enjoy it, and yeah, it grew on me.
So at that point, you're growing up. You never thought of being a musician, but then all of a sudden, um, Linkin
Yeah,
Park.
well, I think sort of growing up, I wasn't very confident, and I used to be quite a lot bigger than I am now. I used to weigh about 9 stone more. I lost about 8 stone in a year, so I was never
Oh
really
wow.
the most confident. Yeah, and I think that I kind of threw myself more into the academic side of things. So I did all my sciences, I went to uni, did all that. And, I still kind of kept the music in me. And that was quite a good, especially with all the stress and stuff like that. It's great just to, you know, I think I used to really blow off some steam listening to Linkin Park. I think internally I was a very angry person, but outside I was fine because Linkin Park used to do it for me in years. So, I just go for a walk, listen to an album, come back. And, yeah, they sort of had a really big impact on me. And I can remember my first ever musical concert I went to and saw. They used to do this festival called Project Revolution each year, I think to raise money for charity or something. And
Okay.
up to my brother's birthday, and I was like, oh, I saw these tickets online, so I thought, well, let's go. And it was in Milton Keynes, which is a massive outside venue. And yeah, have a concert. We got there so early, right at the front. There was like Enter Shikari, Pendulum, NERD, Linkin Park were headlining. It was just incredible, and they just blew me away live. I was so like happy to be there, and that was just the best show ever, in my opinion. That was. But I got heavily sunburnt that day. It was the hottest day of the year in the UK, and I forgot to bring my sunscreen, so I suffered afterwards.
Well, you know what though? Sometimes those are the things that you got to do to sacrifice for, and then, like, which I hate to say this, burned into your memory.
Yeah.
That-
What?
Well, you're like, every time you hear, and it's gonna be hot, it's gonna be 25 or 30 degrees, 70 something degrees, 80 something. You're like, oh man, that concert, man, was so good. We're at Liverpool.
Exactly. Well, the thing I'm 6 foot, I'm closer to most people.
Oh, so you're like, you're at being. You said you're 6 foot what? 4?
6'4". Yeah.
Oh, right. So you're 6'4", so you closer to the sun. See, if
I,
yo, bro, if we stood beside each other, as much heat I attract from the darkness, and you're 6'4", bro, it could have been a way
yeah.
worse concert. So you know what I mean? let's let's call it that you got away a little bit unscathed, not fully.
But, yeah. No,
You know,
I love that concert.
and part of it like was when I was reading your bio, once Chester passed away, you it was something that impacted you in a way where
Yeah, I think
but I
like
feel like when I saw that, and even now just talking to you, and I get a little bit more of a better vibe of who you are as a person, your personality a little bit.
yeah.
I'm kind of feeling like, and then you obviously said you lost like 8 stone, and this let's break down. Do you know the conversion from stones to pounds?
Oh, so there's what, 14 pounds in a stone. So 14 times 8, 80, 8, 16, 24, 32. That's what,
That's
112.
100. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I basically
112 pounds.
lost, I lost another human, basically.
Yeah, that's determination. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying. And so when that's somebody putting their mind to it and really focusing and working on to do that,
Yeah.
you have you know, once Chester died, it probably it impacted you in a way. Like, what
Mm.
were your feelings like? Because this is when you started, like, you started to form the band, and you started Burning in the Skies. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that for a little.
All right. Yeah. So I think, I mean, I've always thought, I always see people posting online when celebrities die and things like that. And I've always thought, God, how can they be that upset? They never knew them and things like that. And then all of a just really hit me. And I think it's because like Linkin Park, when my parents got divorced, and I'd never listened to like pop music and all this stuff. My dad listened to jazz and classical and all this stuff. And when they got divorced, first thing I got
Right.
was music channels in my. And I always remember hearing Linkin Park "Numb" just blasting out the TV, and I just instantly fell in love. And that they were like the first album I ever bought, and the first concert I'd ever been to. And even my mum loved them. It was amazing. Like I used to take my mum to the live concerts, like my mum, my brother, my sister, and I can always remember taking my mum to this Linkin Park concert in London, and she actually sort of
Wow.
ran into the mosh pit. Yeah, she ran into the mosh pit, and I remember looking away, and I looked back, and I literally just saw my mum's feet in the air, and I thought, shit, she's dead. You know, something's happened. And came out, my mum came out with a black eye. She's like, "Yeah, loving it." And I think it was just one of those things that like brought my family together. And so I think Chester kind of encompassed, my family time. And I think in this day and age, it's quite hard to make, quality time with your family. And those kind of times, it was all about us and having a good time and singing along, at the top of our lungs. And yeah, so I think like that death kind of impacted me quite a lot, and I was like, I'm gonna miss their music, you know, because I used to. Everyone at school used to know me as a Linkin Park nerd. You know, I'd always be on the like fan pages, like every day checking up. Is there anything new coming out? And yeah, I just thought, you know what? I've kind of I enjoy playing my music. I've always sort of played the guitar to myself, come up with a few riffs and stuff, but I've never recorded anything. So I thought, well, you know, I'll save up for a while and I'll buy myself a MacBook because that has something called GarageBand on it, which is
Oh,
basic
GarageBand. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and make some music on that. So I sort of self-taught how to use that, and I came up with a couple of riffs, and I just showed a couple of friends, and they were like, "Wow, that actually sounds all right," you know. I was like, "Okay." So I can always remember I wrote my first song, and it just so happens that one of my old friends I hadn't spoken to in years, he'd gone to university and actually become a freelance music producer. So I thought, oh, I wonder what that's about. Maybe I'll hit him up and just see what happens. So I went down there and recorded one of my songs sort of professionally, and I was just going to keep it for myself. I never planned on like coming up with a name or anything. I just thought I'm doing it for myself. It's quite cool. I've always wanted to do something like this. And he just said, "God, you know, I showed my girlfriend your music and she loves it. Can you put it online? I'll show you how to do it." So I thought, well, now I've got to come up with a name. I was thinking, oh, well, I quite like, you know, some Linkin Park connotations in there. And I can remember one of my favourite songs at the time was called Burning in the Skies. And I thought, well, you know, that's quite a good name because it can mean numerous things, can't it? It could be like
Yeah.
fireworks in the times. It could be a meteor coming towards a planet and the end of civilization.
Right,
It
right.
could include. So I thought that's actually a pretty good name for a musical project. So I thought, well, I came up with that name, and then I put the song up on YouTube, and you know, over I had 0 followers, you know, and within a couple of days, I had like I know it's not much compared to most people, but I had like 200 streams and all that kind of thing. And so I thought, well, I'll put it up on Spotify and things like that, and yeah, I just started growing a fan base, and I quite like the interaction. People are like, oh, you know, that sounds really good, and so I thought, well, I'll carry on writing some stuff. I've got some emotions. I'm going through stuff. I'll put it down on paper and see what happens. And it just sort of spiraled from there, really. And here I am today, luckily enough.
Well,
Yeah, looking back.
I think you know, and I think it's amazing how you know just how music kind of just opens up the doors and kind of connects people. And as I was saying, you hit me up, you were like, "Hey, just saw your platform, blah 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 blah." Like, and I was like, "All right, let me check this dude out." So I went, and I'm like,
Yeah,
actually, "Yo, bro, I don't really play or we don't. This is not our format, but I think you're actually extremely talented and very
yeah,
like and this is like and I don't like sometimes I talk like I want people to understand is like and especially for you I'm a dick when it comes to the music and stuff that gets played on our show. Like I'm not gonna lie. Quiet Storm's our DJ. He plays a lot of stuff, but as far as the
yeah,
guests, things like that, and I'm like scrutiny. I'm like I got friends I won't even play because I know they're doo doo. I know their music's
yeah,
garbage, and I can't put them in a situation to look bad compared to other stuff. But there's something that was very catching that caught me, and it was very when I say catching in a sense where and it's not catchy. That was the thing, though. It wasn't catchy. It wasn't like the regular, but normal stuff where I can go down and go, that song sounds like that song. Okay, that song.
yeah,
Everything was different.
yeah, unique.
Yeah, you know, and when I say unique, I see. I was trying to find another a word for it, but I guess I can use unique. You know, in a
Yeah,
sense because you you could tell. I guess as a musician, I hope a lot of other musicians will understand what I'm saying. Is you could tell when somebody puts their heart and soul into something. And I
yeah,
felt that. And that's why I was like, you know what? Yeah, this would be kind of a great conversation because I wanted to also talk about because you did say about you lost some weight, and
yeah,
then I want to talk about that kind of I guess there has to be insecurity, there has to be pressure, there has to be the constant being in your head, there has to be depression, there has to be so many things of like I can't do that because, and then you
yeah.
turned it around. What made you do that?
Well, the whole weight side of things, I think I'd always been a big guy, and I was always sort of bullied at school, and you know I used to dread going to school, but I still go anyway. And I just remember I used to get our school photo each year, And I just remember I got mine back, and I had just loads of chins, and like all my friends laughed at me, and I just felt really upset that day. And I was like, well, you know what? This is something I have control over. I don't like how it feels. I'm gonna make a change. And I think from then I've had this mindset where, well, actually, if I'm worried about something, I can do something about it. So I'm going to change it. And I hate worrying about things. I hate anxiety, and I think that's kind of what drives me to try and be the best I can be, and change if I can, and break bad habits. And yeah, I think that's kind of how I've always been, to be honest. Yeah.
And that's the funny thing now. Like, I mean, because you're obviously how many years have you been out of like school, high school, or?
Well, I know Peter's face, but I'm 31, so
Yeah,
I'm
okay. So now when you see these these fuckers, like as you guys would say in the UK,
yeah,
these fat fuckers with
yeah.
with their dad bods. You know what I mean? When you see that, when you see their Facebook photos, isn't it
Yeah.
funny now how the fucking when the tables are turned and you're
Oh, it
getting
is.
like the oh my god,
Yeah.
Andrew, you look so
I,
good.
I see the call me names and all this stuff, and I look at them now and think, look at you now, and then look at me, and I just think that's just what you get when you apply yourself, and try and be the best you can be. And I think that's great. So I suppose it's a bitter pill for them, but
Right.
it's feels good. Feels good
Yeah.
being able to turn tables.
Yeah, you
Definitely.
know what I mean, but that's see karma. People always say, like I mean, I believe she's real. Like she's
Yeah,
real.
well, I do armor as well. Yeah, I think it definitely comes around. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to go. And that being said, because it also, and I'm just trying to show the layers and the people who are going to be watching, and then we repost this on YouTube and go ahead and do stuff on the radio.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the fact that the perseverance. This is what I like. You know what I mean? I really like a lot because people don't
Yeah.
realize how that attitude you had to change something. It
Yeah.
really flows over into music in the music industry from the work you put in, how you want to accelerate and move forward. It's
Yeah.
so important. They go hand in hand, and the determination. Because we were saying
Mm,
before, that determination. When you were like when you first lost the first, let's say, 3 stone,
yeah.
how did that change? Because I know mentally it's one thing, because
Mm,
it's changing your physical. Then
yeah.
like all of a sudden, was there a shift where all of a sudden the girls that didn't pay attention were starting to pay attention?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's it. I mean, all sorts happen, don't they? Like, I wasn't being picked last anymore for the football team or the basketball team. It was great because all the little changes where people did look at you better. I could fit into better clothes as well, so I wasn't buying the really cheap stuff and baggy stuff, and it looked like I was wearing a tent the whole time. It was nice to wear
What?
something a bit nicer, feel more confident. And I think, yeah, I was really into I really wanted to get good at football. And I can remember my best friend, he was always sort of skinny, but he was my best friend from 6 years old. And we used to go to the field after school, and we'd literally be playing football for about 4 or 5 hours. My mum would be like, all right, off to the field you go, come back for dinner. I'll be out for 4.5 hours having a kick around with my mates. And I think that helped me lose weight. And I think as you get more confident as well, you take up more things. So I kind of got a bit more confident. I took up Taekwondo, and I ended up getting my black belt in that. And all these little things kind of helped kick me into check and just keep me going. And
See,
I
that's
think
what
you
happens.
see,
Like, you got the taekwondo. Now you can fuck them up if they talk shit.
well, because I was doing one of my taekwondo, and not many people at school knew I did taekwondo. I kind of kept it to myself, and I never used it. Um, but I can always remember I came out of one of my taekwondo classes once, and I bumped into this guy that used to bully me quite a lot at school back in the day. And he looked at me and was like, "God, I didn't know you did taekwondo." I was like, "Yeah, I've done it for years. I said, I could have fucked you up, but I didn't. I let you off. So just remember that, okay?" And we kind of laughed. It was quite a laugh, but I just thought, yeah, look at that, And it was a confidence boost, I think, and it makes you feel more confident. And I think you have to fake it till you make it, because you know, I wouldn't say I'm the most confident person. I mean, I still, you know, I was even this interview today. You know, I've been really looking forward to it, but I've honestly been dreading it. You know, because I've never done an interview before. I hate my own voice. And, you know, I had to, my girlfriend was like, come on, let's just take you for a little walk. Let's go for a walk with a dog, have a hot chocolate, come back, you'll be ready. And
Yeah,
so
there
I
you
think
go.
I'm in.
See, but I used to be 260. A lot of people who know me from back in the day, I used to
Yeah.
be 260, 4X, like, you know, rocking the FUBU 4X and
Hang on, belt.
yeah, oh yeah. Like you're like you got the one loop. To only get one loop through that hole, and you try to slide the little thing, and you just
I was
and
extra holes
everything
in
had to
mine.
have to be over your waist, the way over your waist and your belt buckle. You couldn't have anything else. You wanted it long, which was stupid because it just stretched on the back of your ass with the shirt or whatever
Yeah.
else it was wearing. But sweatpants were always good. And, yeah, I think you know it is definitely a confident booster. I can't say that in back in the day. I was one of those people who was like, yeah, I'm big, I'm fat, I don't care. I'm a fat dude. Heavy D was fat. He made it. You know what I mean? Like,
The world's made of all sizes, isn't it? But as long as you're, I think, as long as you're in that, happy, I think, you're happy with yourself, I think you're massive. I think as long as you're happy with yourself and you can live with yourself, I think, well, I've done everything I can, and then I think that's all that counts, isn't it? And I think that's kind of how I've lived. I feel like, right, as long as I've done all I can, I can't do any more. I've tried my best, and that's all that counts at the end of the day. I think, and at least you can live then, can't you?
yeah, and that's true though. I mean, being on this planet is a wonderful thing. We go through. Everybody goes through changes. You go through ups. You go through your downs. You go through the
Yeah,
things you push you to be the person that you are today. And I have a question
yeah,
that I ask. I like to ask people on this show, and it
sure.
is, you know, who is Andrew King? Like, who really is Andrew King?
Uh, I think he is who you see in front of you right now. I think, but I think at the same time you adapt, don't you? You adapt to different situations. So in my home life, I suppose I'm quite laid back. I'm a bit of a joker. I don't think my girlfriend finds me funny. I find me. I think I'm my own number one fan. I find me a little bit funny. You find me funny, so there you go. You
Oh,
subscribe.
my whole life I've been
You
my whole life. Can't you just
know.
be serious for once? Can't you just be serious for once? I just want to have a conversation. Oh.
Seriousness. Or, but I think it depends where I am. I think at heart, I'm just me. I don't take myself too seriously. I think I'm laid back, and you know, if something bad happens, I'm not gonna be upset about it. If there's something you can't change, what's the point of being upset about it? Just embrace it, make it funny, and move on. And that's the best way, isn't it? But I think at the same time, um, I do a job in GP, so I think they're quite a big role in the US. The US, physician assistants. You have physician assistants in the US, don't you? Well, I'm a UK version. I'm a physician associate, so I'm sort of in
Yeah.
GP, quite serious and all that kind of
I
thing.
was
Then
gonna get
you
into
get.
that, but you segued for me. That was good.
Uh, I'm ruining things.
No, no, no. It was great because that's where we were going. That was where we were going. As for the next part where I was going to ask you questions, um, and I like that though because I wanted to show people like there's a real person behind the music. It's not just a facade. It's not just somebody who's there and you like, oh, he's got a guitar behind him, and so this is what it is. You know, um, I want you know, being somebody on like a first responder or working in that field of working on the front line.
Mm.
How scary is it right now for you guys with Corona? We're gonna come back to this question by Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, I mean, it is scary because in general practice over here, you're very accessible, and I think it's changed the way we work a lot. We were seeing lots of face-to-face people at first, that we've turned more to a telephone triage type system, and we've adapted like video calls and photographs, all that kind of thing. But you still get the odd person cropping up who says they haven't got a cough, and they come in coughing and spluttering all over you. Oh God, friend, put my head between my legs and kiss my ass goodbye. But that hasn't happened yet, thankfully. Um, but it is a bit scary because I suppose you just don't know who's going to come in. You don't know what they're going to have. And I still don't know what's going to happen with all the vaccine side of things, because over here we're going to be pushing the vaccine in the next couple of weeks, which I think is exciting. Because I think it means there's going to be a bit of normality next year, hopefully, and we might have a proper summer. Because over here we've had 2 lockdowns, and so we had a lockdown between March and July, and then just had a month of lockdown now, where we've just come out of it a couple of days ago. It's been a bit weird over here, but and a lot of people lost jobs and all this kind of thing because they can't work from home. Whereas I feel quite lucky because I can still go to work and I've got that normality and I can interact with people, and I think that's what keeps you fresh. And I can remember last year when I was going through a lot of stuff. I had a big breakup from my long-term relationship, and I was living by myself, and I wasn't talking to some people for just sort of 2 or 3 days at a time, and I think in that amount of time you almost forget how to talk to people. So it's actually quite nice that being able to go to work, interact, keep fresh. So yeah, and I really enjoy my job, and I think I feel quite lucky because I can use my experience to sort of help others, like with the weight loss side of things. I can motivate them and say, look, this is a picture of me, and this is what I used to look like. You can get to where you want to be. You just got to put the work in. Um, I've dealt with loss. My best friend committed suicide and all this kind of thing. I've dealt with that, and I think I can help other people deal with that kind of thing. So in a way, I think life experiences, even the bad ones, you can always turn a positive on them, and you can use them to know you help. And I think that's what it's all about. Sometimes you always got to try and find the positive in the negative, I think.
I 100% agree. For those of you who are just tuning in and are following us right now, don't forget you can follow Mr. Alex King or Andrew King. Sorry, you can follow Mr. Andrew King, Andy King, at Burning in the Skies _official on Instagram, and you can find any other links to platforms and YouTubes and all that other stuff to find his music. And that, speaking of the fact that you do music, I want to ask you, and you're in the medical profession. What made you want to go into the medical profession? Because most people would be like, I want to be a rock star, and just stuck with being a rock star.
Well, I think, going back to my school days, I was always a bit of a nerd. I was always kind of good at science, all that kind of thing. And
it's because you're a fat kid. That's why you at home watching Star Wars, doing all that shit.
Exactly. I was a fat, spotty nerd. I used to look Margarita Pizza. That's what I used to look like. It was a look. And I think coming from quite a poor family background, I've always thought, I want to try and make something of myself a bit. I want to have higher education, get a good job. But I never thought about going into medicine. I kind of got to my A levels and I thought, crikey, what do I need to do? And I thought, what's going to get me a good job? Oh, I know, I'll do biology, chemistry, physics, and maths. So I did that at A level, and then I was like, I need to go to university now. What the hell can I do? Well, my favourite was biology, but I fucking hated plants. I know, I'll do zoology. So I did a degree in zoology, and and sort of graduated with that. And then I got a sort of part-time job at a GP practice as a medical receptionist. Mm-hmm. And they train diabetic healthcare assistants, so I learned to take blood and do foot checks and stuff. I thought, God, this is actually, I'm enjoying this. I like this human interaction. And this course came up in London at med school to become a physician associate. And I thought, well, it's not a doctor, it's not a nurse, but it's a new role and it sounds quite exciting. I'll give that a go. I feel like I've just fallen into luck every time. Like I've just gone, I'll try. I just wish it had worked with the lottery. It hasn't worked with the lottery yet. I did win 2.
I feel you. I played again last night.
Did you? You're still here today, so unlucky. That's what happens, isn't it? I think. Yeah. So
I want to talk about, you said your relationships. You were in a breakup, and now you're in a new relationship. How big of an influence do your relationships play on your music? Because a lot of artists they feed off that, and because you seem really happy. I'm glad you got rid of the old bitch. You got a new one, and you're real happy right now.
Been happy. Great. It's amazing what you can find in your times, I think. But I only really started writing sort of my music when I was going through a bad patch with things, and And I think I find I can write really well when I'm feeling upset or angry. And since being in, we've been together nearly a year now with this new relationship, I've really struggled writing music because I'm happy. I'm like, well, I haven't got anything to write about.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, we went for a walk and we had hot chocolate. Came back and did an interview. I'm happy as hell. Happy as hell. No, I'm just playing.
I can't relate to that. I find people relate to music when there's like despair and sadness, all that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
crazy.
So, yeah, I think I kind of fed off it, and it gave me something to concentrate on. And when everything ended quite suddenly, and I was by myself, and I think you're grasping at straws, aren't you? And I thought, God, I really need something to focus on. And so I just thought, right, I'm going to focus on some music. I've got some good stuff I can write, and I can go see my music producer friend, have a day down in Kent, and that kind of that really kept me going. To be fair, over those 6 dark months, and yeah, I've come out the other side really strong. And but it really gave me something just to focus on, just to put my all in, to put the energy in, and it felt like I was achieving something as well. Because when the mat's kind of torn from underneath you quite quickly, you always think, "Oh God, where's my life going? What am I doing? That's 9 years down the drain. Where am I going to start? Am I too old for this stuff now? What's gonna?" I was thinking, do I just go and buy 10 cats and live happily ever after there?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, so I think I use sort of my emotion and that kind of thing, and I put it into my music. And I quite like that because I mean, not all artists, but I know some artists get people to write stuff for them, or they'll write things just because. But I can honestly say that every song I've written has come from my soul, and it's really come from a place where I'm feeling that exact feeling, and there's no synthetics in there. It's like that's all me, and I kind of listen to my songs back, and at first I just thought I listen to my own songs in the gym. I put it in, and I'm like, oh yeah, and it kind of drives me in the gym. I think, oh yeah, I was feeling angry here, or I was feeling despair, and I think there's nothing better you can relate to than your own. It sounds silly, but than your own music,
Right.
and yeah, it's kind of kept me going. So
You know what? I like that. I love the fact that you're just kind of chill. You're just kind of open. You're very open when it comes to being like that. And I think that's a strength of a true artist, is
yeah.
being vulnerable in your music and being able to do that. You know,
Mm.
I hope your new girlfriend doesn't break your heart. So we get some hit singles, but I hope that she kind of
Oh,
borderline get it, like, you know what I mean? We get a really great next album.
that's that's it.
Oh, if you, but what is the, I would also too, I want to ask you, like, if you could work with any musician, if I'll let you pick, three musicians that if you could work with, not in any particular order, whatever, who would they be?
Mm.
Dead, and obviously, I know we know one, dead or alive.
God, dead or alive? Okay, so obviously it'd have been Chester Bennington. I would have loved to work with him, but Mike Shinoda was the other half of that, and I would do bad things to work with him. I would love to, get him on board with one of my, because there's a couple of singles that I've written where actually there's like a bit of a gap there that might, have a good rap in it that he could put down, and I think it'd just be so great for me, being the fanboy that I am, and I think it'd be a nice closure to sort of my music and encompass things, and I would love to, yeah, work with Mike Shinoda. God, another one. I feel that's quite difficult because I've got such an eclectic taste of music. I like
Oh, I
anything.
know. That's why I only gave you three.
Yeah, another one now because, like I told you, I just listen to my own music, so I've kind of. I used to be a big fan of like Skillet and Sum 41 and Simple Plan and real sort of 90s noughties artists. But I'd love to work. I mean, I've found myself becoming quite a big fan of Bebe Rexha recently because I know like I follow her on Instagram and I know she's gone through a lot of stuff with her mental health and she's
Right.
quite open about it and you can kind of hear it in her songs and I think yeah she's probably got a few things to say and I wouldn't mind maybe working with someone like that as well just to change things up a bit. But, yeah, I'll be open to working with anyone really. To be honest with you.
I mean, it's crazy as an artist. Your brain just goes. and I know that when you ask people that question, I know they're like, oh man, what is he doing? Like, why did? Oh my god, what, bro? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but uh, and out of all the songs that you may have written, do you
Hmm.
have a favorite one?
Do I have a favorite? Uh, to be, it's just that's a hard one because I think one of my favorites will always be the first one that I took, like my first little baby, called Second Thought, because it's just kind of how Burning in the Skies was born. It's just I put these lyrics down. I can remember how I was feeling that way, and obviously you know Chester Bennington, he screams, doesn't he? You can do that scream and things like that. And I'd always wanted to be able to do that. So I remember writing a song, and I was like, God, you know, I'd love if I could scream and put something in here. And I spent about 3 or 4 weeks in my car driving around by myself, listening to Linkin Park songs, trying to scream, and I was just like getting a sore throat, pulling my voice, having laryngitis for a week. And I just remember one day I did it, and I was like, God, I've done it. That sounds really good. And all of a sudden, I could just do the screen side of things, and it's actually really well. I find it really easy now. I think it's easier than singing, to be honest. But well, I can't remember what we were talking about now. Oh yeah, favorite song. That's it. Yeah. So I think yeah, I can remember learning that scream. I was like, I'm going to put this into Second Thought because that's going to go really good into the guitar solo. And yeah, I would say Second Thought is probably my favorite just because of that's how things are born. But then I really like because did you say you were going to play Note to Self? Did you? One of my
Yeah,
tracks.
we're gonna play. Not here, but we're gonna play it. So when we put it on the show, when we put it all
Yeah.
together, radio station,
Uh,
then we gotta submit this to the radio station. So we're gonna have
yeah.
that Note to Self gonna be played. So
Nice.
yes, we're gonna play Note to Self right at the end of the show. So
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think Note to Self is one of my favorites because it's so different from my other stuff.
right,
Um, that was a song that I wrote. I was thinking I was in a race, and I was thinking, you know, things are going to get better. You know, give it a few months, I'll be laughing about this. And you know, what would future Andy say to present Andy? And I thought I'm going to write a song. It sounds really silly, but I thought, you know, I'm going to write a song to myself. I thought this is what future Andy would be saying to present Andy. And so Note to Self was kind of came from that idea. And it's kind of the
that's
first time I someone. But I really like my new one out because a lot of people said it sounds a bit Linkin Parkish and kind of like Numb. So I've just released a song called Found It Yet that I wrote back then when things were bad too. But it's a bit more heavy rock, synthy, electronic. I think it has a lot of raw emotion in it. So I think those are my favourite three. But I like them all, to be honest. I like them all.
all
Yeah, I'm
right,
on my
all right. So Miss Sunshine asked you. She says you didn't just aim for the skies, you set the skies on fire. When
oh
and when
shucks.
when you hear things like that, I mean, that's obviously something that like where other people can see that. Do
Yeah.
you think?
You know, I never set out to make an impact with my music, and I think the fact that you know people can resonate with what I've written, and the fact that I get those kind of comments, it's just, I mean, it makes it all worth it, doesn't it? I know it sounds silly, and you do it for yourself, but when people say those kind of things, you just think, God, that's amazing! Like, I've had that impact on that person, and that's what they think, and sometimes it takes someone to point it out to you, and you go, oh yeah, well actually maybe I am all right because I don't consider myself a musician, and I don't really kind of consider something that I just do it in my spare time in my bedroom, you know, on my MacBook, and then I'll take it down to my friend who's a music producer, and we record it together, and then I upload it, and you know, it's kind of been a hobby for me. So for people to go, oh yeah, you're a musician, and wow, you've had this impact on me, I just think, wow, you know, it's amazing. You know, I'm really thankful for those kind of comments. Yeah.
See, I bet you can't wait to for everything to get back to some sort of normalcy because you might be able to be out there to open for bands and groups that when they come into to the city or like that must be a little bit frustrating considering the fact you're on a roll like there's momentum.
Well, this is actually 2020 has been pretty bad for everyone, but not really for me. You know, 2020 I got played radio here. I'm being interviewed by you, which is incredible, and being played on your show. Um, but I suppose I've never actually really thought about going live because I'm kind of a one-man band. Like I'm the one that puts the synths down, I'll put the guitar down. I normally put electronic drums. When I go into the studio, my music producer, he's a multi-instrumentalist and he's amazing. He'll play the drums for me and stuff like that, and we record sort of live drums. Um, but I haven't really got a band. It is just me, really. So I've never really thought. I did think at one point, what would I do if I went live? And I thought it would just kind of be a weird form of karaoke with me kind of playing a backing track of my stuff and sort of singing into a microphone. But then I guess you've got to start somewhere, haven't you? And I think if
I think by just showing how you would create something, and even if you decide to just start to create a song that you just from scratch, you know
yeah,
what I mean? If you recorded it and edited it, and just kind of did piece by piece, or even if you just like you were like, hey, I have this idea, I made this song, these are the synths, da 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 da, and you started to
mm,
sing that, and you went from there,
yeah,
and you just a snippet, not the whole thing, maybe the
yeah,
like chorus or the first verse, and then dun, I think that would be more beneficial to you because I've heard it. Some of the people who haven't had
yeah.
that opportunity to hear it yet, and they're gonna hear it and be like, "Sleeps is right. What the hell is this guy doing?" Like,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's encouraging. Yeah, I think you got to start somewhere, and maybe we'll see how things go. But maybe there might be a chance to play a live gig or something like that. And I mean, it'd be amazing to open up for a band. I'd love that. And I think who wouldn't want to follow the rock star lifestyle, go around touring with your music, buy a mansion in LA, a couple of Pomeranians or some whatever you do, and
it's real,
live the dream.
bro. It can happen.
Yeah,
It's
should
real.
we make it happen?
Your girlfriend might be like, "LA, I don't really want to go there." Like,
No.
Andrew. Like,
No, she's Italian, so she doesn't sound like that at all. She sounds like an evil
oh, okay,
genius.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, that was you've clearly been practicing
All the time,
that.
all the time.
All the
All the time.
time.
One day I might be on Top Boy. One day.
One day. Well, it's a good start.
Yeah, you got to try somewhere, man. You got to keep the
Yeah.
the money going. Because I always say even for acting, you never know when
Mm,
time might come where you just might do something, and you're like,
mm,
wait a minute, how do I stand out by taking this character to the next level? And
yeah.
sometimes you'll read, and it's like being proper and
Mm,
having a proper flow of English, you automatically think British.
yeah.
People automatically think British. So I'm like, well, if I
Yeah.
have that in my back pocket, I can never be stuck in a room. I could never be stuck in a room and not be able to do something, and at least sound somewhat authentic, where they're like, I can pass. We'll just get them dialect cool.
Oh, it's hearing.
you know,
It's a good talent.
but yeah, I mean, I think I'm funny. That's the only thing. That's why, I'm saying, when you said you were, I was like, bro, like, I feel you, bro. Like, right here, I feel that. Totally
You should
feel you.
start a thing. Double act, stand up. Let's do it.
Who,
I'll come
me?
to Hollywood. Yeah, let's do it. Stand up.
Yeah, okay. I've always thought,
Yeah.
I've done it once when I was at a, I guess I would say a bar, you would say a pub, and
Oh yeah.
they had stand up comedy, and it was amateur night, and they said, anybody want to come up and blah 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 blah, and I was like, I was kind of tipsy, so I was like, all right, I'll go and start,
Go.
and it worked
Oh,
out. Kind of worked out well, and my brain started going, okay, I've watched so much comedy shows before and things like that, and just remembered that you start with a topic in the beginning and you try to bring it in, try to get it to the end, and then you punchline with
uh,
that one right at the end of it. And
you had a,
I had never
you
done it
had a
before.
method. Well, sometimes you just got to jump in the deep end, haven't you?
Yeah,
You got to jump in the deep.
and it worked.
Yeah,
And I'll
and find.
do this again, but it's not easy. So I know the next time I go back, I would really work on making sure that I had my jokes. I just it worked that one night,
Yeah.
but I don't think it work again. Like
No.
if I thought about it, you know what I mean? I didn't think about it. I just went up there, did it, da da da. It just so
Did it.
happened I found that part. I filmed in, got my punchline, and I was like, I guess I'm out.
Nice.
Got nothing left. So
But that's the best way. I think when you do it like that, it can sometimes come across as a lot less robotic. Can't go out there with your material. If someone heckles you in the crowd, you think, well, I haven't got a joke for that. What do I do? Like
You
you went just with the, those are the best
know,
kind of
I blame it on 3 Heinekens and 2 double, Captain Morgans and Diet Coke.
oh
So you know what
man.
I
I've
mean?
I, I don't have the manliest taste in drinks. I've never been a beer guy. I'll have my cider, but I'm normally a vodka and Coke guy, or at my worst, a Malibu. I love the coconut. I have to have my girlfriend up to order for me, and I go, and that's her drink. She's the one that orders it.
Okay.
Out. We went out for one of our kind of first times out, and we went to this bar, and he's like, "Oh, if you order me a Dark Moon beer," and I was getting like a Malibu and Coke, and I can remember I ordered this Dark Moon beer, and this guy next to me is going, "Oh, Dark Moon, oh yeah, oh I love the taste. What do you think?" Oh, this is the most manliest conversation I've ever had at a bar, and it's not even my beer, you know.
And I thought, okay, what I know what to ask you. I mean, now that we're moving on from being tipsy, when you
Yeah.
think about like, being about life, having a clear head and everything else, is there ever a
Mm.
point where you thought like, with what else you might have been doing if you didn't get into the medical field or you weren't doing music?
Yeah. I think I'd always wanted to, everyone wants to travel, don't they? But I think with my zoology background, I mean, before I'd applied for the medical side of things, I actually applied to do a master's in studying the bees in Malaya. So if I hadn't have done that, I was going to go and study all the bees and I think like all the ultraviolet light and the pathways they see on leaves and stuff and how all these, fungus and things attack them. And it would have been a very different thing, but I think I probably would have been traveling a bit more, looking at animals and yeah, maybe that side of things. But I don't know. I think you've got to try everything, haven't you? Really, you don't. Sometimes you don't know what you like until you've tried it. You also don't know what you don't like until you've tried it. But I think I'll be open to to most things. Really, you got to try things, haven't you? And it helps you grow as a person, and you can manage to figure things out. And yeah, who knows? I don't know what I'd be doing. But like I said, I just feel like I've fallen into one lucky pot and into another lucky pot, and I just kind of managed to ride the wave, really. So who knows?
Continue. That's all you can do
Yeah.
is continue to ride the wave. Andrew, is there anything that you want to say? Can you plug all your social media links, where people can find you? And
Yeah. So yeah, Instagram, I'm Burning in the Skies underscore official. I've got a Facebook page that's Burning in the Skies, but with two S's at the end. Um, Twitter is at Burning in the S. Um, and obviously I'm on Spotify. So I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Google Play, all that kind of thing under Burning in the Skies. So yeah, it'd be great if you gave me a follow, listen to my stuff. I think it's so easy for people to. Cause I've noticed that when people get wind of your music, you get all these messages going, "Oh yeah, we'll promote this, we'll promote that." Or how many streams do you need? But I don't really care for streams. I kind of want an organic. I want people to actually like my music, and even if it's just 10 and not 10, I'd rather have 10 people that actually like my music and want to listen to it and interact. And I think that's kind of the hardest thing I found. So in the whole music, because I don't really know much about the music industry, but I found it's quite hard to find people that actually want to interact with you. And
right.
to put a comment on your YouTube video, I put it all the time. I say, please let me know what you think, and I genuinely mean that. Like, I'd love you to know if you think it's crap, tell me, or if you think it's good, tell me, or if there's anything you think that I could do better, tell me. And I think it's important to have that interaction with your fans and your fan base. And I think record labels are quite elusive. And I think it's very hard to break into that side of things. And I think that's kind of why I've kept it as a bit of a hobby because it's so hard to break into. And I've sent demos to like Warner Records, and they're like, "Oh, we might be in touch, we might not," and you can't get through to anyone. And it's just so frustrating. Like you feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. Um, but I think, yeah, if anything, I just love to have, people enjoy my music. And if they enjoy it, follow me. If not, my music's not for everyone. But yeah, I hope they like what I write, and it comes from the heart, and that's all that counts, really. Yeah.
I love it. You're a
All
good
right.
dude, man. like, I love the fact that you're mad genuine. Anytime you've just broken our mold, you know what I mean? You've broken the
Yeah.
mold. I think there's you and one other another artist we've had on that have really kind of
Mm.
led me to understand that music's universal.
Mm.
And I've said it with John Rosaire earlier on the show. It's crazy how the one thing that nobody cares what color you are, your skin color, your religion, sing at a
Yeah.
concert, and you're all singing the same song. Everybody's
Yeah.
good. Like, you're good with this guy. You
Exactly.
buy this guy a beer when the person comes around to sell beer. Like,
People are, but you're in the moment, aren't you? And I think
mhm.
that's what so it brings everyone together. And it's kind of one platform where you can just let everything on the outside just dissipate and you can just enjoy the moment. And you're all there singing the same song, same passion. You've all got that in common. And yeah, I think that's why music's so great.
Well, you know what? Once again, like I said, thank you so much. Andrew King, everyone, right here on Hollywood North Radio, UK musician. You got to go follow him. You got to check out his music. You can do that at Burning in the Skies _official on Instagram, and it'll guide you to wherever else you need to go. Once again, Andrew, so much love, man. So much. I love this conversation. Thank you for just being real with us. And I
Yeah,
can't wait to hear what you got coming out next. And please contact us. I'd love to have you back on, bro.
I'll
100%.
definitely a message and let me know. I'd love to be here. So yeah, really appreciate the opportunity. I can't thank you enough. Yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
You're very welcome. And go enjoy that cold hot chocolate because I remember you still haven't taken another sip of it since you got
Yeah,
it. So you better warm it up before the Italian stallion starts getting angry that she made you a hot chocolate.
I tell you, I'm going to be under this table.
Thank you so much, man. That's Andrew King, everybody, right here on Hollywood North Radio, where the celebrities come to play. Andrew, thank you so much, man. See you again. Cheers. Yo, I like this dude. I like that dude, man. Andrew King. Sorry, look at me. I'm here banging my camera around and everything. I really liked how genuine he was, man. And you could just tell that, you know what, that's the kind of people. And when I say people, I mean there's a certain core of people who understand music, understand the fact that, hey, I got an opportunity to say what I love to do and put my emotions on I guess I shouldn't say on tape, or record my emotions and have other people enjoy it and have other people appreciate it. And you can just tell somebody like he's a just genuine dude. And I really appreciate the fact that he came on and gave us the time here on Hollywood North Radio. He goes by the name of Andrew King, everybody. He's out in the UK. Check him out, man. Like, the stuff is really good, man. I was really impressed, and it led us to this day right here. So once again, don't forget to follow him at Burning in the Skies _official. And we'll be right back with the person that I'm supposed to interview at this time, coming up in about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 or 10 minutes. He goes by the name of Sebastian Xavier Lennox, and he's from Toronto, Canada. And he's 60 years old. He's a filmmaker, and we get the opportunity to talk to him. He's got a great little project that he did, and you'll be able to watch it on his IG and YouTube channel. But I'm gonna let him tell you all about it right here. Give us 5 minutes. Same bad time, same bad channel. We're just gonna be right back. We're gonna take a pause for the cause. I am your host, Big Sleep. Big shout out to John Rosaire, DJ Quiet Storm, and Nene. And we'll be right back on Hollywood North Radio with the celebrity.